Hey everyone, and welcome. In cybersecurity, they say the best offense is a good defense. But what if the best offense is, well, a good offense? Today, we're diving into how you can safely attack your own network to find the holes before the bad guys do. Think about it. You've got the best firewalls, the latest antivirus, all the shiny security gadgets. But how do you really know if they'll hold up against a determined attacker? Just sitting back and waiting to get breached, that's not a strategy, right? You've got to be proactive. And that's exactly where adversary emulation comes in. It's all about learning to think like an attacker, to beat them at their own game. The tool we're going to be looking at is CALDERA. It's a super powerful open source platform from MITRE that lets you do precisely that.
So here's our game plan. We'll quickly cover what adversary emulation is, then we'll walk through the 4 core pieces of a CALDERA mission: the agent, the abilities, the adversary, and finally the operation. And then we'll wrap it all up to see how this whole thing helps you think like an attacker. Let's get to it.
All right, first up, the agent. See, every single attack has to start somewhere with that first initial foothold. In the world of CALDERA, that foothold is the agent.
So what is it? The agent is just a small bit of code that you get running on a target machine. Once it's there, it calls home to your CALDERA server, and then it just waits. It's your spy, your person on the inside, ready and waiting to get commands for the simulated attack. So how do you get this agent onto a machine? Well, real attackers get creative. They might hide it in a malicious document, run it through a PowerShell script, or even use a physical USB stick. For our test here, though, we're keeping it simple. We're just going to copy and paste a command right into the terminal. And boom, the moment it runs, you'll see the agent pop up in your CALDERA dashboard, marked as alive and trusted. That's it. That's your confirmation. You're in. Now, for this demo, we're going to assume our agent is running with elevated or root privileges. That just simplifies things and gives us full control from the get-go. Okay, so we have our agent inside the network, patiently waiting for orders. The big question now is, what can we tell it to do? Well, this brings us to step 2, abilities. An ability is basically a specific action the agent can perform. But here's what makes this so incredibly powerful. These aren't just random commands. Every single ability in CALDERA is mapped directly to the MITRE ATTK framework. That's a massive public database of real-world attacker techniques. So you're not just running scripts, you are simulating actual documented attack behaviors used by threat actors out in the wild.
This chart breaks it down perfectly. Think of an ability, like finding specific files, as one specific move an attacker makes. That move maps to a real MITRE ATTK technique. The overall goal, or tactic, in this case might be something like collection. And the executor, that's just the how, the actual tool used, like PowerShell for Windows or Bash for Linux. It's a really smart system that keeps everything grounded in reality.
And the best part is, you don't have to start from scratch. CALDERA ships with this huge library of pre-built abilities you can just pick and choose from. But if you've got a very specific test in mind, you can absolutely build your own custom abilities. You can define the exact command to run, and, this is really cool, even a cleanup command to cover your tracks. So we have our agent, and we have a whole menu of possible moves, or abilities. Now it's time to string those moves together and create a real strategy. This is where we build an adversary. The adversary is basically your attack plan, your playbook. It's a hand-picked collection of abilities that you group together to mimic a specific threat. You could model it after a known hacking group, for example, or a particular style of attack, like ransomware. Building one is actually pretty straightforward. You can start with a pre-built profile like Thief, which is all about stealing data, or you can create a brand new one from the ground up. Then you just start adding the specific abilities you want to test, tailoring the attack plan to your exact needs. When you're building out this adversary, it's not just about the attack itself. It's also about being stealthy. As the quote says, you want to clean up your mess. That's what the pros do. And that's why so many abilities in CALDERA have those optional cleanup commands we talked about. So you can remove files, clear out logs, and erase your footprints, just like a real APT would do. Okay, let's recap. Our agent is in place. We've built our adversary profile with a whole list of abilities. There is only one thing left to do. Launch the operation. The operation is the main event. This is where you take that adversary playbook you just created and you unleash it on the agent you have deployed. This is the live fire exercise. It's where you get to see in real time exactly how your defenses hold up.
And launching it is super easy. You just create a new operation, give it a name, and pick the adversary profile you want to run. The second you hit start, Caldera gets to work, feeding commands to your agent, running each ability one by one. And you get to sit back and watch the whole thing unfold from the dashboard. All right, we've walked through all 4 pieces: the agent, the abilities, the adversary, and the operation. So now let's zoom out a bit and see how this all fits together into one really powerful security testing loop. This chart really sums up the whole workflow. First, you deploy an agent to get your foothold. Second, you build an adversary to plan your attack. And third, you launch the operation to execute that plan and, most importantly, learn from it. The key here is that this is a repeatable, scientific process. You can run the exact same test before and after you make a security change and get concrete proof of your improvements. And that really gets to the heart of why this is so important. Adversary emulation isn't about bragging that you can break into your own systems. It's a defensive tool. The whole point is to understand the potential paths an attacker could take, to see your network through their eyes, and then use that knowledge to build smarter, stronger defenses. Plus, it's an amazing training tool for your blue team, letting them practice against realistic attacks in a safe space. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Once you use a tool like Caldera to see your network the way an attacker does, what's your next move? How are you going to use that new perspective to build a more resilient system? If you found this breakdown helpful, hitting those subscribe and like buttons really is the best way to support what we do. It helps us make more content just like this. Thanks for watching.